When you're flying in an airplane and glance out the window, you probably don't give much thought to the shape of the window itself. But there's a reason why every single commercial aircraft today has oval or rounded windows. It's not a stylistic decision, and it's not about comfort or aesthetics. In fact, the reason behind this design is rooted in one of the most tragic chapters in aviation history, a lesson learned through catastrophic failure and loss of life. Back in the early 1950s, the dawn of the jet age was marked by the introduction of the de Havilland Comet, the world's first commercial jet airliner. It was sleek, fast, and revolutionary. Passengers loved the quiet and smooth ride, and airlines loved its speed and efficiency. The Comet was a symbol of the future. But within a year of its launch, a series of unexplained mid-air explosions turned that future into tragedy. In 1953 and 1954, 3 Comet aircraft broke apart mid-flight, killing everyone on board. At first, investigators were baffled. There were no distress calls, no signs of fire or collision. The plane simply disintegrated in the sky. Eventually, wreckage was recovered and reassembled piece by piece in a hangar, a painstaking effort that would ultimately lead to one of the most important discoveries in aviation safety. What investigators found was shocking. The structural failure began at the corners of the aircraft's windows, which, at the time, were rectangular. The sharp corners created concentrated stress points. As the aircraft climbed to cruising altitude, the cabin was pressurized, meaning the inside was under much greater pressure than the outside. Every time the plane ascended and descended, the fuselage would expand and contract slightly. Over time, this pressure cycling led to metal fatigue, especially around the corners of those square windows. Microscopic cracks formed in the corners and slowly grew with each flight, until eventually the entire structure failed. The result was explosive decompression and in-flight breakup. The Comet disasters were traced directly to the window design. That was the moment the aviation industry realized that aesthetic decisions could kill. The solution was simple but vital: round windows. Oval and circular shapes distribute stress evenly, without sharp points where pressure can build up. With rounded edges, the chances of cracks forming and growing are drastically reduced. Since that discovery, every commercial aircraft has used rounded windows, not for style, but for survival. This change in window design was just one part of a broader revolution in aircraft engineering. Planes were redesigned to withstand thousands of pressure cycles, with every structural element tested for long-term fatigue. Today's aircraft go through intense simulated stress testing, with fuselages pressurized and depressurized over 100,000 times in controlled environments. This is how manufacturers like Boeing and Airbus ensure that even the smallest flaw is caught long before a plane ever carries a passenger. But the lesson didn't stop at windows. It reshaped the entire philosophy of aviation safety. Every detail matters, from the shape of a window to the curve of a hatch. Aircraft today are full of rounded edges, gentle transitions, and reinforced joints, all to reduce the risk of failure under extreme conditions. So the next time you look out of an airplane window, know this: it's not just a window. It's the product of decades of engineering, tragedy, and improvement. A reminder that in aviation, even the smallest design choice can make the biggest difference. And sometimes, what looks like a simple curve is actually a life-saving innovation. Subscribe us for more videos.